So a couple of things on Generation Y, and importantly there. I put this slide up because if these factors weren't present when you're an athlete, it is a good indication of how different generations can be. So it's also an interesting one to note in terms of, when we look at these factors, how does it influence how we structure our training programs? So how do we keep our younger generation of athletes engaged in what it is that we're doing? Pick out a couple of key ones and just give me an illustration perhaps of how that might relate to how you may create an engaging training session for them, or conduct your sport overall, for example. What do you think? Yeah.
Filming technique.
Yeah, okay, so lots of visual information for filming things, showing it back to them immediately too, right? Yeah. Okay, so quite often with the rowers, we'll actually video them and literally show them straight away. Rather than necessarily, we do wait a little while as well after they get off the water and have video sessions and analysis, but there's Facebook pages, there's a lot of communication done by the internet, there's all of those videos uploaded online. Football teams, instead of showing an athlete an hour of footage of them playing a game on the weekend, the football teams are breaking that footage down into 3 key things the athlete did well, 1 key thing they want them to work on, sending it to the athlete on their iPhone, and letting the athlete watch that before they turn up to training, and then the athlete being able to conduct a conversation. Some of the interesting ones up here is that one over there, it's choice. Entertainment is the big one, so you notice the connectivity with mobile phones, big screen TVs. So yes, our athletes want to be entertained. I mean, nothing wrong with that, is there? It's different to how I was coached. I didn't expect any of those things. Like if the coach was to say to me, "Go, I want you to do 2 hours on the rowing machine," well, that's what you did, right? It doesn't make it wrong that this current or newer generation of athletes want to do things differently. It just means that we have to adapt to whatever their particular needs might be, whilst keeping our values in place as well. Okay, so an interesting study here, and this relates to some of the comments we made before, when I looked at Generation Y being much less likely to respond to that, we showed it before, that traditional command and control style of coaching. Okay. So they're just less likely to do something because you say. They've grown up questioning their parents, which is a healthy thing to do. They've grown up questioning authority figures, which is a healthy thing to do. I mean, my 4- and 6-year-old daughters, we teach these young girls to look at adults in the eye and talk in a confident way and give them money, and they go to the shop and they buy things by themselves and hopefully wait to get the change and come back and give it back to us. But at a very young age, you teach them these skills. And they're all great skills that could be absolutely critical in life after sport, but they're actually really good skills for sport too. Okay? Just don't expect them to do it now without any sort of explanation. Right? But they do understand things. So, as a general rule, you can think about this in terms of what we call the 4 C's. Okay, so your young athletes are looking for cooperation. And that's really looking at, they want to have that level of involvement. But they want to have a level of collaboration where you can add value to them and they can add some value to you. Because they want to have some sort of say in it. Certainly they want your level of competence. Okay, so they want to see coaches as a trusted person who can give them the right ideas about the skill, safe way to conduct their sport. Right? And they still want to win, right? But there are lots of other reasons why they participate as well. Communication, so they're expecting you to use some form of 2-way communication, so to ask them questions to get their feedback. And what's becoming really confronting for a lot of coaches, and I was talking to another school about this today, is coaches being evaluated at the end of the season by their athletes. It's common practice now in colleges. It doesn't mean the coaches over there like it. But if we put ourselves in the same situation in the business context, if we were the managers of a team, we'd be doing a performance review every single year, and every single team member would be giving us some sort of 360 feedback on how we are actually performing as perhaps their leader. In this case, how we're performing as a student athlete's coach. What are we doing well? What can we do better next time? I actually think that's a really healthy thing. What do you think? Confronting? It can be. Still, there can be a lot for us to learn because we're always giving our athletes feedback. We're always helping them to develop themselves, and we're just reciprocating that. And of course, that last one, character. So what are you doing in your programs to help your athletes develop that concept of character? And talking to some coaches recently who think that the younger athletes that are coming through lack that mental toughness. I don't necessarily agree with that. I've seen lots of young athletes that have phenomenal levels of mental toughness, but in my experience, it's something that we can help develop as a coach. What do you think? Can we help teach mental toughness? I mean, is it something that you're just born with, that you grow up with, or is it something that you can learn and develop? I sort of hope that you can learn and develop it, right? Which once again is part of our role, and being mentally tough is a really critical thing, and can certainly help us a lot in sport later on.